Coming to you live from the KDWN studios on South Durango, Pawn Talk Live. Hosted by the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney, and the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas, Michael Mack. Call in at 257-5396. That's 257-5396. And find out what your valuables are worth from the top expert in the pawn industry. Now, Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney rolling right on through here on a July 4th afternoon. Chad Forrester here with us still. And, of course, the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn, host here of Pawn Talk Live, executive producer of the all-new daily program live in Las Vegas here on KDWN, Michael Mack. Michael, how you doing, buddy? It looks like the storm blew over your wedding plans.
Well, it blew through, thank God, because, where it's hitting is Cape Hatteras, and the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse is exactly where Kat and I are getting married in 2 weeks. And, a lot of sleepless nights for Kat, and, wedding plan changes. What are we going to do? We rented the houses. We got the caterer. We got the food. And what are we going to do? And, all those things. Now, they haven't had a storm like Arthur. Now, like you said, Chad, it sounded like a drunk
Dudley Moore movie, right?
1981.
But it was like a drunk nightmare. But, Arthur is the first storm. We planned our wedding in July, early July, because the fact that in August and September, the storms start hitting the East Coast, and some of these storms become tropical storms, and they get names, and they get uglier, and they wreck the coastlines. And this is the first time since 1850 that they've had a storm of such caliber. And of course,
in July, you mean?
In this early in the year. So Kat and I always like drama, and so this is just drama to create the perfect relationship, the storm, the love before the storm.
That's perfect. That's awesome. It's the perfect storm wedding album. Hey, you guys, when you do your wedding video, could it have that kind of a theme? Could we get George Clooney to maybe do a little intro here?
We're gonna have something like that. But happy 4th to everyone.
Man.
Yeah, happy 4th of July.
You know what? Happy 4th to everybody, especially your employees. You're like the nicest boss ever, where you could be, out there working these guys on a 4th of July, because as we know, betting continues to go on. People gamble every day. Max Pawn closed today.
Well, we are a family-run business. We have a lot of competition out there that are corporate-run stores, and my heart goes out to those people that work every day. But we're a family-run store. Families like holidays, Labor Day, Memorial Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day, bar mitzvahs, weddings. Oh, we're gonna take the whole week off next week for my wedding. We're taking everyone.
I highly doubt that. Michael's like, no. In order for me to do this wedding, you guys are working next week.
No, but it really is a tough day, because a lot of our clientele, being pawn customers, they need cash.
Right.
That bills are up. People have a long weekend ahead, and they didn't expect to spend this type of money, and so they need that extra cash. So yesterday we were slammed. We're going to be open tomorrow 9. We're open every day 9 to 8, and for those that need extra cash, we'll be available for you tomorrow and help you out. But happy 4th, and it's great that our employees can get off. And most important, thanks to all those veterans and those that have served our country, so we can celebrate America's birthday. And, this is a great country, and we're very fortunate. I know this week was very patriotic for the United States with America's soccer team, and as far as they've gotten with World Cup soccer. But it makes you feel proud of how you are to be American. You hear these sad tales of all the ugliness that's happening in the United States, but when you travel outside the borders of the United States, you come back. We live in a great place.
Yeah. No, you say it right. I mean, there's a lot of different places around the world that don't get to enjoy some of the creature comforts that we so take for granted here in this country. And I guess that goes for all of us. I've taken things for granted. And you know what I was going to say? I actually, I really do like Wet 'n Wild. It's a good place. I like Cowabunga Bay. Guess what? I'm going to go to both of them, and I'm going to make sure that I enjoy them all, because it's 119 degrees out this summer, and I am not going to let this go
Good
on.
recovery.
We're going to make sure
that.
you get sponsored. You're
That's
going
right.
to be a NASCAR driver for Wet 'n Wild.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, listen, the childhood memories that you developed, though, on 4th of July at places like, Wet 'n Wild, and especially, these places here in Las Vegas, and the Palms Casino we'll be at tonight, different places around town, they last a lifetime.
I'll tell you a great event they're having at Wet 'n Wild. I've noticed a lot of charities are having runs. There's the foam run, there's the bubble run, there's the water run.
Right.
Wet 'n Wild is having a water run. in the
I love it. In the lazy river.
They're
Do
having
you know
a
how
run.
hard that's going to be?
So I challenge you, Chad and Dave, and anyone else here at Beasley Broadcast.
Awesome.
Let's go out and let's do the water run.
I'm down for it.
Yeah, I don't think you really want to see fat guys.
That's exactly why we want to see it.
I don't know if I want to see that.
That's exactly why we want to see it.
I am very buoyant. That's true. I don't sink.
You know, and listen,
I think you have an advantage.
I'm going to take you guys both to school. Okay, I've been water resistant training for a while, so I'm going to definitely do this. It's going to be a lot of fun. But no, you're
no
right.
need to brag.
You know what, Michael? You say it right though. I mean, 4th of July, great day. We've got so much to be thankful for, and for the folks that are listening to us today here on KDWN, we thank you for tuning into us on your holiday weekend. And we know that there's so many other things that you could be doing, and if you are having a tough time, getting through some of these summer months, remember Max Pond open again tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Help you out, get you through these hot summertime months. But Michael, it's still really a party celebration day. We have 330,000 extra people here in town for a 4th of July weekend. What do you have planned for later on tonight?
Well, I'm having a quiet evening. We're going to actually watch the fireworks for the Red Rock Casino. Is going to have one of the best fireworks. So we're probably going to go drive up on Charleston, pull off the side of the road, turn the air real high.
Okay.
And maybe have some kind of a libation and enjoy the evening. But be safe out there. I know there's a lot of sobriety checks. Please don't drink and drive. There's a lot of alternatives. And, Dave, I know you'll be sober all night. So if you just call Dave, his cell number, he'll pick you up. He'll drive you home.
Yeah, right.
You mentioned Red Rock, just real quick. I mentioned this earlier. KKLZ is actually going to synchronize their music.
Yeah, you said that.
So you can turn KKLZ on while you're doing that.
That's great, man.
Well,
greatest hits of all time. Going with the greatest fireworks show. Man, that sounds like a blast.
I'm strictly a Beasley guy, so I'm going to go from this side of town to hit the other side of town, hit Coyotes.
There you go.
Yeah,
go to
Green
Green
Valley
Valley.
Ridge.
Hey, well, fortunately, the 215 being what it is now, without the stoplights and the impediments that we had in the past.
It's not impossible.
No, it's not. You can actually do it. Well, now I live right down the street from the Fiesta, and that's one of the places that, again,
you have live gunfire out there.
I was going to say you have to be really careful with how we talk about that. But, yeah, there's some of the most interesting fireworks shows that you'll ever see. Somebody's car is obviously on fire. That can be a fireworks show, and various other types of displays. Now, Michael, when we talk also about 4th of July, I wanted to talk about some of the cool pieces of Americana and some of the different kinds of historical items from our great nation that have passed through the doors at the world-famous Max Pond. Now, we talked earlier this week in some detail about some of the different things that you have seen. Give our listeners a small taste of a few of these items.
Well, Dave, we get a lot of memorabilia, so a lot of sports memorabilia. We have a lot of baseball memorabilia. We have Doc Gooden's no-hit ball.
Wow.
We have a lot of baseball stuff, so a lot of signed baseballs, and baseball being, the America's pastime.
That's right.
Also have to give a plug to my brother. He has a baseball team here in Las Vegas. The 51s are having a great year with their coach and their team.
Number one in the PCL, 51-36.
Won last night 9-8, and they take on the Albuquerque Isotopes starting today at 5 o'clock.
And they had one heck of a fireworks show, I heard, last night.
I did. I saw it from my house, yeah.
See, you do get fireworks.
I
can only imagine what happens in the streets of.
You can only imagine. Thank you. We appreciate that. Fortunately, I'm keeping it down. I'm holding it safe for everybody.
Well, part of the other great things that we see a lot of historical pieces. You guys have seen the World War I poster we have. So we get a lot of memorabilia through the store, and we have a World War II uniform that you guys have seen in the store. I have old movie cameras, and we are going to start featuring more antiques. We're adding a little antique table out in the store as of this week, and we're going to have Antique Andy come down and help us put out some great antiques, and we welcome her back to Pond Talk Live next week as well.
Yeah, nice. We're very excited, obviously, about the addition of some of the new items in the store, and that's the great thing as well, Michael, about Max Pond, and this is something that folks that are listeners here of KDWN and Beasley Broadcasting are going to soon find out that Max Pond is really changing the way we think about pawn shops. It's not a pawn shop per se. It is, in essence, you can definitely get a loan on a collateralized item, but it is more a retail destination now than ever before, Michael. And you've done so well with being creative and keeping the items in store fresh, new, and always changing. So great stuff coming up. Like you said, just next week, a whole new kind of a corner. something that I think, I deserve at some point, and we'll let you guys decide if I do, if it ever shows up, is an Xbox One. This is a great piece of Americana.
Was I right? Did we have one?
You had one there.
Okay.
Yes, you had one.
Had's the key word.
I don't know if it's still going to be there, but an Xbox One, it should be an American right. It's made by an American company, Microsoft. Thank you, Bill Gates. And it has really given me a new reason to spend multiple hours creating fantasy realities like NBA 2K14 and 15. So with that being said, it looks like it's our first break of Pawn Talk Live. When we come back, we're going to talk Collector's Corner, and later on in the show, we're going to get a chance to talk with a really cool guy, Eric Dahl, author of a really important B.B. King book. Guess what? He found B.B. King's gig guitar, gave it back to him. B.B. King repaid him too. Stay tuned with us on Pawn Talk Live.
And it's 2:15 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. No incidents to report on the Valley freeways. On the streets, however, look out for a new injury crash on Rainbow at Windmill. Your KDWN weather, mostly sunny today with a high of 103. Right now, it's 101 degrees in Las Vegas. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Desiree Peoples on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Attention men, are you one of the millions suffering from ED? Has Viagra or Cialis failed you? Are you suffering from low T or just wish you could last longer? New Male Medical Center can help you discover the new you. Their doctors offer state-of-the-art FDA-approved treatments that are 98% effective. You'll see results on your very first visit. Their treatments will work even when Viagra and Cialis have failed. Guaranteed. Call New Male Medical Center at 702-505-4414 today to schedule your no-obligation appointment. Calling now is the best decision you will ever make for your sexual health. Join the thousands of patients who are no longer suffering because they had the courage to call. 702-505-4414. That's 702-505-4414. New Male Medical Center. Discover the new you. 702-505-4414. That's 702-505-4414.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guy for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
There's so much to know about our H2O. Where does it come from and how does it get into our homes? How is it cleaned before we drink it? Which laws protect it? What other benefits does it offer besides public health and fire protection? Water plays a critical role in our daily lives and the quality of life we enjoy. So let's all make a commitment to learn more by getting to know our H2O. For more information, visit drinktap.org. This message brought to you by the American Water Works Association and your local water provider.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney, Michael Mack, Chad Forrester, Clyde the Glide behind the boards here today. Great job, everybody, and thanks for sticking with us here on a 4th of July. 238 years young America is today, so if you're driving around and listening to us, we appreciate you making us a part of your holiday weekend. Now, guys, we've got a lot of great stuff coming up here on the remainder of the show. 2:30, we're going to get a chance to talk to a really cool dude, a Renaissance man, somebody that Chad knows. Michael, you know, I'll be meeting him for the first time over the phone today. Eric Dahl, author of the B.B. King book called B.B. King Stolen Lucille, Found and Returned. Great stuff there, and you can find out more about that at bbkingbook.com. This is going to be a really fun interview. Right now, though, we're going to take you on a little tour of our precious metals because it has been a rocky road over the last couple of years, but we've got some guys with some answers. Let's listen.
Get ready to get your gold on. The Precious Metals Report is brought to you by Max Pawn and their new luxury showroom at the corner of Sahara and Jones and online at maxpawnlv.com.
Well, the bulls are mooing. Let's be honest, Michael. The bulls are mooing right now because traditionally, historically, June was a bad month for precious metals and is actually up. Today, week to week, it's probably about, I would say it's flat. It's gold's right now at $13.20.50. Silver's actually up a little bit, $21.15, which is beautiful, and platinum $14.92.
You know, I'll tell you what, from all the different precious metals, where I've seen the biggest movement in the last 2 weeks is platinum. Platinum went above $1,500 for the first time all summer, and I don't know what rhyme or reason. You know, we always try to figure out, we try to be forecasters of what's happening with precious metals. I don't think anybody's right. We don't know really how it's been effectuated. You know, we say that, the world market, we know that when there's unrest in the world, we know that marketplace goes up. But with platinum, it doesn't have a real significant commercial use. And that's, where you see some significant rises. It doesn't have a big place in the jewelry market, but obviously the demand and the supply has been affected because platinum's gone up.
Yeah, well, obviously, I believe geopolitics has a lot to do with this, but I think the other thing is inflation. I mean, just look at food prices, and obviously, precious metals are a commodity, so naturally they're going to be up. But I mean, if you are a person that collects gold or silver, especially silver right now, 2115 is a solid mark right now.
And I'm to the point where I've been listening to guys like Chad, Michael, friends of ours over at Sahara Coins on Sahara, Antonia, Raymond, the Bullish Bryant, and of course our friend Alex over there, and I'm listening to all you guys, and I'm really starting to figure something out. We might not have long to get into the silver market, the gold market, the whatever market, before we see another really, really high tide start to hit. Because like you mentioned, Chad and Michael, you've said it before too, commodities in times of desperation and change, they really start to pick up. I mean, whether those guns, gold, food, water, oil, whatever it is, if it's a commodity that's not necessarily renewable, you get, higher prices immediately. So for me, I'm really looking at, divesting some of my stuff into some silver. I mean, would you guys say that's a smarter, safer move than maybe jumping into gold? I mean, especially with, $2,000, $3,000. Is silver the place to go?
Well, obviously, the difference being $21.15 to $1,320.50. So obviously, clearly, it's easier for people without a lot of means. And historically, Michael and I have talked about this. If you compare gold to silver, the ratio is off. I mean, if you look at $13.20 for gold right now, silver, historically speaking, should be around $40 to $50. So just from that alone, it's a better buy. But also with the COMEX, changes and the silver fix in London closing down and all those kinds of things, I believe silver is gonna be really bullish. And I believe all the precious metals are going to go up, but I think silver has the best future.
And like you said, Chad, I think the opportunity of the price difference, you can put away, bullion or coins, at $22 or $23 a piece based on silver being at $21. And so if you want to invest a couple $100, you can do that at a whack, where if you do it with gold, it's not going to really make much of a significance. It's like buying a very high price stock. You're not going to see that price change in the percentages, but if silver goes up $1, in relation to $20,
sure,
that's a 5% increase.
Yeah, absolutely, great point.
So that's where you want to be.
Great point. Well, I tell you what, that's where I'm thinking about definitely going. And Michael's obviously got some great coins down at the store. You guys are starting to get more and more in the store. So if you want to get your hands on some silver pieces, two places I'd recommend in town. Obviously, like Michael says, there's lots of places to go. Go down to the world famous Max Pawn on the corner of Sahara and Jones, 6040 Sahara. And if you don't find what you're looking for there, go up the street and you can find our friends at Sahara Coins. They'll have what you need as well.
Well, and the boys at Sahara Coins, they sell it in volume, and typically it's only a small percentage over spot. So if you are looking for bullion, it's not always easy to find, Chad, as you know.
Yeah.
You can go into a store and say, I want to buy $1,000 worth of silver, and they don't have it.
Right.
So sometimes you have to put your order in. But I know that Sahara Coin, they've completely remodeled their store. It's under new management, and the customer service is, we're hearing the feedback from our clientele because, that symbiotic relationship, that sister store, brother store, whoever we may be to Sahara Coin, it's working great, and we really appreciate the way they take care of our customers as well.
It's great stuff. And, good point, too. Not always will they have the stuff you're looking for. So if you're trying to get into the silver market, and Chad, I know you've been down this road a couple of times where you're going to, spend lots of dough, and these people just don't have anything to give you.
Well, I usually go when I go to Sahara Coin. I've been in on a Monday, and they got a bunch of silver in, and by Friday, it's almost gone. I mean, within a week, and the demand is very, very high right now. And obviously, they're getting stuff off the street as well. Obviously, when prices go up, Michael can talk about this, people start to go in that obviously are down on their luck a little bit. The silver and gold that they do have, they want to get a better dollar for it, so they'll come into the store and they'll trade it out. So in that way, you get a little bit more, influx of different kinds of coins, because it depends on what you're buying it for. Obviously, there's different ways of collecting gold and silver. I mean, for me, it's about the metal content. For other people, it's about the collector's item, about the value of the commemorative issue of a coin, which actually there's a lot of merit to that, too, and I've kind of got into. It's kind of cool to have a coin from the 1800s and think about the time that it was minted and those kinds of things.
Sure, and then, you get to go on these wild speculations. This could be worth $50,000. Oh, $50.
You have to look at where it was minted and all that, and it becomes kind of complex, but it's kind of fun, too. It's like a scavenger hunt.
Well, listen, we thought you had something here.
I thought I had a $200,000 coin and it was worth $30.
And I was all like, Chad, you remember me? I'm your friend over here. I'm Dave. Don't forget about me. I'm a poor little guy. Hey, guys, speaking of good stuff, fun stuff, and things we like to give away, we're going to do something special right here. I know it's July 4th, so if you're listening to us, the phone number to reach us here live in studio, 702, of course, 257-5396. 257-5396. We're going to spin our Max Pawn prize wheel. I'll tell you what we're getting on the other side.
And now it's time to get lucky with the Max Pawn prize wheel.
All right, today's Max Pawn prize wheel is going to be a $20 shopping credit to the world-famous Max Pawn. All you have to do is join us today on the program, 702-257-5396. Get yourself a free $20 in shopping credit to the world-famous Max Pawn, meaning you got to come down there, tell them you heard us on the show, and when you go to buy stuff, which is always, Michael, at almost 70 to 80% off retail prices, you get a $20 shopping credit courtesy of the world-famous Max Pawn. 257-5396. Now, with that prize wheel already spun, I want our DJ behind the boards there, Clyde, to cue up our Collector's Corner as well. We're going to talk patriotic stuff today, guys.
Ever wondered what your treasures are worth? Find out now on the Collector's Corner.
Yes, the Collector's Corner. It's a refined and dignified way of saying stuff that you used to have that you want to get rid of, or stuff that you have and you just don't know what it's worth. That's what we're talking about here. 702-257-5396. Fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack here with us to help you figure out what your stuff could be worth, America. And again, we've got $20 in shopping credit to the world-famous Max Pawn. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call us, 257-KDWN. Now, Michael, we talked a little bit earlier about some of the different items that you have in the store. The World War II uniform is a really, really interesting piece. Now, I've had the privilege of seeing not only this piece, but several others from World War II. I had many family members, great uncles and the sorts, that were involved in the conflict, the war that we thought was going to end all wars. That was World War I. But World War II, I've seen the uniform. And
no, the next one will end them all. The next one.
Yeah, they keep saying that. Yeah, it's the tagline. But I've seen some of these things, and I've seen them also sell for, an incredibly high price. With the item that you have, if you can, tell us about the story that it came into the store, how the guy had it, and what did you end up getting for it, or give him for it?
We see a lot of different items, and people go through their closets. Maybe it's someone who had passed in the family, but this was an actual uniform of a family member that called in our radio show, and they had a full uniform. Even the little brownie camera that comes with it. And so it's great. I think it's less than $500. So if you need a costume, if you need something cool, but it's a great piece. But, we have a lot of memorabilia in many different fashions when it comes to some of the old. And a lot of the cool stuff that I'm seeing recently is the political stuff. I have a full-size Richard Nixon poster with the holding his two fingers.
Oh boy, infamy!
And we have a lot of the buttons. You have knives, from some of the different elections. And I just watched a story last night on CNN, about the Kennedy assassination. And there's a lot of newspaper articles that come in, and people come in. So we want to see them. We like to hear about them here on Pawn Talk Live, and that's the thing that we're trying to drive every Friday on our show is, what type of great item do you have? What do you have at home? And no question is a silly question on Pawn Talk, and you never know what something might be worth.
Yeah, no question is too big. No question is too small for world-famous Max Pawn owner Michael Mack.
Let me ask you this real quick, Michael, because I've collected this before. I remember when I was a Larry Bird fan. When Larry Bird retired, someone gave me the Boston Globe, the article of it ran down his career in the whole 9 yards, and so I sealed it up and kept it because it was something cool to me. Is that worth? I mean, I'm not saying that specifically, but stuff like that, like let's say a newspaper, Dewey wins, for example, is that worth anything?
Well, the Boston one's great because I'm a big Lakers fan. So if I had Magic Johnson's footprint on that Boston paper, that would be worth a lot of money.
That's awesome.
Not fair. Come on.
That is awesome.
No, but you know what? I think a lot of that is personal because
Sure.
You can't really put a dollar amount. But if as time goes on. And things like that become more and more rare, and it's in pristine condition. It's framed, and then you put it up and you put it for sale because that one customer that happens to be just like you, Chad, that's still following that dream,
Right?
And has a lot of money, might fork it over for it.
Yeah. And I'm sure that if someone said, "Hey, Chad, would you take $2,000 for that newspaper?"
Yes, I would.
Okay, so if you are looking to buy Chad's newspaper. It's for sale.
Yeah.
My memories are for sale. I don't care. My childhood is for sale. I don't care. Let's do it now.
I heard somebody tell you your smile was nice, and you told him you'd give it to him for a discounted price. I'm just like, man, this guy's selling the farm.
It's a fire sale.
But in all seriousness, here's a situation like Chad had just mentioned. He said he'd sell that newspaper article. Well, that's very dear to him, but, that's what makes Max Pawn so really neat, because someone could come in and consign something that's really special to them, but they may need some cash, and they might need a loan. They can get a loan against that, or they may put it on consignment because, like Chad said, there may be someone that walks in our store that pays a big dollar. You're excited because you created some cash flow through that.
Absolutely.
And someone who really wanted that item could get something that they can't actually get their hands on.
Absolutely. Now, when we come back from this break, guys, we're going to talk to a gentleman who helped a very famous person get something back he never thought he would, and that is Eric Dahl, who helped B.B. King get back his touring gig, Guitar Lucille. Stay with us here on Pawn Talk Live, News Talk 720, KDWN.
Frankie Valli will be all wet before singing that song, and it has nothing to do with last night's rain here in D.C. He warms up his voice in the shower.
I take a much longer shower, and I'll warm up maybe for about 45 minutes.
Tom Bergeron's hosting for the third time. There's no need for him to ask Sarah Evans to return to Dancing with the Stars, which he dropped out of in 2006.
I just can't imagine going to Beverly Hills and living there and not being with the kids.
Philip Phillips and Jordan Sparks will also perform. Michael Weinfeld, Washington.
Another staple of July 4th, the hot dog eating contest on Coney Island, New York took place today. AP Update, I'm Carlotta Bradley.
The news brought to you by the Salvation Army. Time to give yourself and someone else a fresh new start. Donate goods to the Salvation Army and help people in need. To schedule a pickup, call 1-800-SA-TRUCK or visit satruck.org.
It's 2:32 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, brought to you by the Salvation Army. When you donate goods to the Salvation Army, you help countless others. To schedule a free pickup, call 1-800-SA-TRUCK or visit satruck.org. No incidents to report on the Valley freeways. However, Metro is still on the scene of an injury crash, and that's on Rainbow at Windmill. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Desiree Peoples on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hi, this is Michael Mack, owner of world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
TrueCar.com is changing car buying forever. Yes, every day, TrueCar users receive negotiation-free, guaranteed savings. Some features not available in all states. In the first 3 months of this year, over 126,000 cars were sold by the TrueCar Certified Dealer Network. TrueCar users save an average of $3,078 off MSRP. When you're ready to buy a car, just follow 3 easy steps. First, go to TrueCar.com and find out what other people paid for the car you're looking for. Then register at TrueCar.com to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings. Third, simple. Just print out your TrueCar savings certificate and take it to the TrueCar Certified Dealer for a better, hassle-free car buying experience. Remember, every day, TrueCar users receive negotiation-free, guaranteed savings. Save time, save money, and never overpay. Visit TrueCar.com today. That's TrueCar.com.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
All right, welcome back to Pawn Talk Live right here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney, Michael Mack, owner of the world-famous Max Pawn, Chad Forrester, co-host of Live in Las Vegas with us. And you can follow up with Pawn Talk Live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at PawnTalkLive.com. You can also follow us all on Twitter at Pawn Talk Live. Follow my good friend Chad here at Chad Tweet Stuff. Follow Michael through his store-affiliated Twitter feed at Max Pawn, and you can follow me at Dapper Dave C. That's right, baby. I'm a Dapper Dave man. That was a great B.B. King tune leading us back here on the program. And joining us, a very special guest, somebody that I know, Chad, you're very, very familiar with. Michael, not sure how long you've known him, but joining us on the line here, Eric Dahl, author of one of the coolest new books about B.B. King. You can find that online at bbkingbook.com. Eric, thanks for joining us. How are you, bud?
Hey, you're doing great, Dave. I really appreciate you and Michael and Chad having me on as a guest, man.
Well, it is absolutely our pleasure. I mean, I didn't realize how deep your connections went with the show when we were looking to put this interview together. Thank you, Michael, obviously, for setting this up. I had no idea you knew Chad so well.
Yeah, Eric and I go way back, don't we?
Totally. I mean, we are with the same friends with Brad and a lot of people and Steph and everybody. So Chad and I used to hang out a lot, man, when I lived back in Vegas. A great guy, great radio guy.
Eric Dahl is a Renaissance man of sorts. Not only is he an author, not only has he been in broadcasting for over 30 years, but he's also in a band. Obviously, he's a guitar collector. He brews his own beer and makes his own wine. I mean, this guy is just, he's really a Renaissance guy, Eric. You are a Renaissance man.
I would go more with Jack of all, master of none.
Well, Eric, I mean, first of all, thanks again for joining us today here. Give our listeners, before we get into some of the other stuff you do, your show down in Memphis, give our listeners a little taste of this new book you have and what got this thing off the ground. What happened in order to inspire the events that led you to writing this book?
Well, it's funny, Dave, because Michael and I were talking, the other day when I was in Vegas for meetings, and basically what had happened, living there in Las Vegas for 10 years, I'm a pawn shop guy, and I always frequented the pawn shops and got a lot of friends in the business there, obviously, and would help them with guitar and instrument values. And in turn, they would help me, with deals on instruments that then, I was looking to add to the collection, as Chad mentioned. So finally, at one point in 2009, I got a call to the TV station. One of my buddies, the pawn shop people kept me on speed dial for instruments for good reason. And so one of my buddies called me up and said, hey, you bought a Gibson Lucille from us. I got another one coming out of pawn. It's going to hit the floor today. Do you want to come take a look at it? And, like Chad said, I was playing the casino circuit there in the evenings, and doing TV during the day. And so on my lunch break, I went down there and looked at this Lucille. And it ended up being an 80th birthday Lucille. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. I haven't seen one of these yet. And then it was covered in sweat. The whole thing was just nasty. It looked like somebody had just gigged it and then hocked it. And then I flipped it over, Dave, and on the back of the headstock, it said Prototype 1 with a ink stamp. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Usually a lot of prototypes, instrument-wise, guitar-wise, never get to the public. So I was talking with my buddy, and I'm like, hey, will you take a little less on this? He's like, no, this is the price. And so I ended up paying I think $2,163 for it, which was at that time the most I'd ever paid for a guitar.
I bet, especially at a second loved shop, right?
Yeah. So, and so I had to go out, Dave, and actually go outside the pawn shop, call my wife, and go, "Hey, look, I'm getting ready to buy a guitar."
You have permission.
And Chad knows my wife, and so he knows this is true.
Yeah, Les is a ball breaker.
So I went out and used my lifeline and called her and said, "Look, honey, I know." Because I probably bought another guitar amp recently, so I didn't have any in the slush fund for instruments, but I went ahead and bought it anyway. And so I got it home, Dave, and I went ahead and, cleaned it up, polished off all the sweat, cut off the strings, set it up, did all this stuff, and got it looking just beautiful again, and started researching it and learning about it for like 2.5 months. And I started bugging Gibson here in Nashville like every week. So I had a contact at the Nashville factory, so every week I would either call him or email him, going, okay, can you help me? Because not that I was looking to sell or get rid of the guitar, I just wanted to know if B.B. King had played this for 5 minutes and then told Gibson, go ahead and build them. And So I kept bugging him, and I reached out to all my friends, reached out to George Gruen, just a lot of people, in the guitar business that, have a lot of knowledge, and nobody could give me a definitive answer because you don't see a lot of instruments that have Prototype 1 on the back of the headstock. So finally, about 2.5 months into this research, a lead guy, Pat Foley from Gibson, calls me up and goes, "Hey, Mr. Dahl, you've got a Gibson Lucille."
Wow.
I said, "That's great." I said, "You're not helping me, man. I've got 5 more in my guitar room." He said, "No, I don't think you understand. You have Mr. King's 80th birthday Lucille, and he would like it back."
Wow.
Yeah, that's the wow. Yeah.
That was the wow. And so I'm like going, well, that's different. So then, and I told Chad this because Chad and I got together after this whole thing went down. And so then, Gibson's like, "Well, how much is it going to take to get back Mr. King's guitar? Because this is his 80th birthday present that was stolen and then hocked." And I said, "Well, nothing." I said, I won't take any money. I said, if I could get a Lucille in return, since that's what I bought from the pawn shop, that'd be great. So then Gibson, that totally threw Gibson for a spin. They're like, "Okay, well, we'll call you back." So then, like 15 minutes later, B.B. King's people call me, and they've got the checkbook open too, and they're like, "Okay, how much money is it going to take?" I'm like, "I won't take any money." I said, if you could give me a Gibson Lucille, that'd be great. But I'm returning Mr. King's birthday present. It's his. It's all good. So they hang up on me and said, "We got to call you back." And so finally they call back and say, "Okay, Mr. King wants to meet you." And so then that's how the whole thing ended up transpiring to where, since I wouldn't take any money, and I guess other people had tried to hold Mr. King hostage or Gibson hostage in the past for other stolen instruments, and that I wouldn't take any money, and I just wanted a Lucille in return. Mr. King met me for 45 minutes there in Las Vegas. I gave back his stolen guitar, which still had all the guitar parts in the middle pocket.
Wow.
I kept everything together in plastic bags and everything. And so he was almost in tears. So I returned that to him, and then he gave me a brand new Lucille, signed it for me, signed a book for me, gave me 3 guitar picks, gave me a copy of his book, and it was just, it's still surreal when I think back on it.
I was going to say, for a guy like you, Eric, that's something you can't buy. It's not an experience you can buy. But just
no, you're right.
Just
you're
real
totally right. I mean, it's just kind of looking back and going, "Oh my gosh, I was sitting within like 10 inches of B.B. King."
Well, Eric, let me ask you this. You say you paid $2,100 for it at the pawn store. If you would have known, or if they would have known, how much would it really be valued at? I guess it depends on how much B.B. King really wanted it back. I mean, how much of a deal did you really get only paying $2,100 after finding out it's his guitar?
A pretty incredible deal, honestly, because, the guitar at that time, probably since it was his main playing guitar, since 2005, probably worth $30,000 to $40,000.
Wow.
So they made 82 of them. After doing more research, I discovered they made 2 prototypes. One went to Mr. King, one went to his son Willie, and then they made 80 other of this model that were sold. Half of them were sold, outside of the United States, and the other half within the United States. So, I would say probably when he dies, Chad, that guitar will probably be worth like $100,000. That'll be the one that goes into the Hall of Fame because it's the only one he gigs with, and he has a bodyguard that carries it now.
Well, he has a bodyguard that carries it. Well, you need to be commended for what you did because most people aren't that benevolent. Most people are going to say, "No, I want the $40,000," and you gave it away. You gave it back to him because it was rightfully his, and you did the right thing. So I commend you on that, Eric.
Well, and Eric,
it felt right. And Chad also, if you would have seen how happy he was, and he never thought he would get it back because even the Gibson guy had told me they assumed the guitar was in Japan. And some of the other ones that have been stolen from him probably are in Japan because that's where a lot of the collectors, they've got a lot of money and they love having American memorabilia, like a lot of the stuff that, like Michael was talking about, to where they love having that stuff and they keep it in a private collection in Japan and it never gets out.
Well, it's because they're trying to figure out how to make a better Epiphone. That's really the key. How do we make this work out? Yeah. And Eric, another funny thing here, is we're talking with Eric Dahl, who is author of a new book about B.B. King and this stolen guitar. Go to bbkingbook.com, find out about that. One of the interesting things we talk about here on Pawn Talk Live with Michael Mackin as recently as last week is security in the pawn shop and how there's a very strict set of rules and regulations that basically, are supposed to ward off the purchase of these stolen goods. And, something like Mr. King's guitar, and Michael, I want to bring you into this discussion. Had gotten the sense that guitar was stolen when you were buying it, not that you bought this guitar, but if a pawnbroker in those shoes were to kind of sense that, what would be the thing to do in that case, Michael?
Well, obviously, we don't want to. Obviously, we don't want to take stolen merchandise,
ever.
But on the flip side is that we are an opportunity to take something in that can be retrieved. If that guitar was not pawned in a pawn shop or sold in a pawn shop, Mr. King might not have ever received this back through Eric.
Good point.
So
Very true.
we are sometimes a recipient of good faith, and it hurts us because we lose money as pawnbrokers. But the goodwill it provides, it's so minimal, it happens so rare. But the goodwill it does provide, it's so positive, and that's a good thing because that, like Eric said, that guitar would probably either go on eBay or it'd go online or it'd go straight to Asia, and that would be in some private collector's hands and never be seen again.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's definitely nothing we want in the blues community. Eric, we've only got about a minute here left with you on the show, and I want to give everybody a chance to see what you do in action because you've got a great thing going on down there in Nashville. It's called Rock and Review. It's on Fox 17 down there in Nashville, so you can obviously see it if you're living there, but you can catch this online. This segment airs on a YouTube channel called Rock and Review 17. Some of your notable guests have included Charlie Daniels, Tom Kiefer, Ricky Skaggs, Mark Slaughter, John Oates of Hall & Oates, Robin Ford, who is another amazing blues guitar player, Tommy Emmanuel, just to name a few. And I really want to thank you so much, Eric, for joining the show. I know that you're a friend of Chad's, a friend of Mike's. I feel like we're all friends now.
Oh, totally, and I appreciate it. Speaking of Michael's point real quick, too, Dave, Mr. King did not turn this guitar in as stolen either. And that's the thing that I love about the Las Vegas pawn shops especially, which have my favorite pawn shops, including Max Pawn, to where I think they do a great job of working with the police if something is stolen and something like that to where they find out. And in this case, it wouldn't, like Michael said, it wouldn't have been found out if I hadn't done the research because Mr. King never turned it in.
Well, Eric, we loved having you on. We want to have you on as a regular guest on our Music Moment, so we'll get back to you and have you back. And happy 4th of July to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy 4th to everybody. It is 2:46. We're going to jump away, take our final look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live.
It's 2:46 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. We've got no new incidents to report on the Valley freeways and no incident to report on the streets either. NHP wants to remind drivers that DUI checkpoints are in effect today throughout the Valley until 3 a.m. Your KDWN weather, mostly sunny today with a high of 103. Right now it's 102 degrees in Las Vegas. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Desiree Peoples on News Talk 720 KDWN.
People say puffiness and bags under the eyes are the hardest things to get rid of. Until now, introducing Genucell stem cell therapy from Chamonix, specifically targeting eye puffiness and bags. Due to new technology, Genucell is incredibly powerful. Clinical grade serum, guaranteed to show results in 12 hours or your money back. Now that's right, users could see Genucell working in only 12 hours with dramatic improvement in as little as 2 weeks. A true Chamonix classic. Genucell contains 8 extra ingredients to reduce the appearance of bags and puffiness in hours. Plus, Genucell uses patented plant stem cell therapy technology to improve longevity and brilliant long-term results. Call now to try Genucell risk-free. 800-811-6897. 800-811-6897. Say goodbye to puffiness and bags today. Call in the next 20 minutes and get the legendary Esotic face cream absolutely free just for trying Genucell today. Chamonix, the best skincare, best results, or your money back. No questions asked. Call now. 800-811-6897. 800-811-6897.
Attention men, are you one of the millions suffering from ED? Has Viagra or Cialis failed you? Are you suffering from low T or just wish you could last longer? New Male Medical Center can help you discover the new you. Their doctors offer state-of-the-art FDA-approved treatments that are 98% effective. You'll see results on your very first visit. Their treatments will work even when Viagra and Cialis have failed. Guaranteed. Call New Male Medical Center at 702-505-4414 today to schedule your no-obligation appointment. Calling now is the best decision you will ever make for your sexual health. Join the thousands of patients who are no longer suffering because they had the courage to call. 702-505-4414. That's 702-505-4414. New Male Medical Center. Discover the new you. 702-505-4414. 4414. That's 702-505-4414.
Are you an accredited investor? Tired of receiving a low yield on those CDs and treasury bills? A new national franchise hotel and RV park near the Las Vegas Speedway is being developed. This limited opportunity is now available. Minimum investment is $100,000, and the underlying asset is the land, hotel, and RV park. True, tried, and tested hotel management company. If you qualify for this commitment, a small deposit of $12,000 will secure your position. Reserve your spot now. Receive great returns. Get information. Call 877-307-3464. Just call 877-307-3464 or go to gatewaydevelopmentgroup.com.
You've loved them on Fridays and missed them on Mondays. Not anymore. The boss just threw them 4 more days. Yeah! Live in Las Vegas with Dave and Chad kicks off your afternoon, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4, here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live right here on News Talk 720 KDWN, coming at you worldwide at KDWN.com as well as at PawnTalkLive.com. Dave Carney, Chad Forrester, owner of the world-famous Max Pawn and fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack here with you. Guys, great stuff with Eric Dahl. Amazing interview. The guy is obviously a stone-cold pro, which we love here on the program. And visit the website, bbkingbook.com. Real easy, just like it sounds, bbkingbook.com, and order a copy of this. Fantastic stuff.
I've seen his guitar collection. He's at the time, I think it was in the neighborhood of 50 or 60 guitars. He's probably over 100, and he has a humidifier. He has his own little room. It's like, I mean, this guy knows more about guitars and loves guitars more than anybody. For him to give that up, it just shows you what kind of guy he is. Because that would be really hard to know you've got a $30,000 or $40,000 piece of equipment and just give it back.
You know, I don't know, because and we're going to talk about this.
I'm just saying for me.
I'm going to wrap this in 6 degrees of Bob Dylan style, because of the fact that we're going to have a note to talk about. If I would have found one of my heroes' guitars there, I would have felt the same exact way. I would have wanted to give it back to them, like,
and meet him.
And meet him. Exactly. This might be the only way that I can force a reclusive person into meeting me. And you're right, you can't buy that. That's hen's teeth. And B.B. King, one of these guys who, you know, I mean, he's beloved worldwide, but he doesn't do a lot of meet and greets. This isn't like the kind of guy that's just out there glad-handing every day. He's royalty.
I would have asked for some free trade at his restaurant, though, at least.
That's, Eric, you would have, wouldn't you?
Eric picked up so much guitar karma from that, you know, and
you got that right.
Guitar karma.
Yeah, the guitar gods, man. You're right.
And you know, he's probably going to run into so many vintage, nice guitars from that you know, karma. But you know, he's the type of guy that we love to have on our program. People can call up, they can ask about vintage guitars that, you know, no one knows about, that Eric can, and we're hoping to have Eric down at Max Pawn as a guest. And when we do that, maybe we'll have a live remote and we can have some kind of event so people can bring their vintage guitars and get free appraisals and meet Eric and see his book and have him sign his
Guitar
book.
Roadshow, we can call
That's
it.
Right. Absolutely. And listen, as a former Gibson owner, and right now I actually do have a Gibson Epiphone, so sorry for the slanderous remark there about Epiphones earlier, but
it was a Wet and Wild edition.
Exactly. But it was actually one of these things where, you know, you look at what guitars mean. He said guitar karma, guitar god. Here is a quote from Carlos Santana off of the website, bbkingbook.com, where you can find Eric's book. Tells you how much guitars mean. And he's talking about B.B. King being the chairman of the blues guitar. He gave birth to Michael Bloomfield, Peter Green, me being Carlos Santana, and hundreds of thousands of other musicians. His guitar, B.B. King's Lucille, is the gateway to our souls. Carlos Santana said that.
Wow.
So if you want to know what this guitar means in history, in the pantheon of incredibly famous guitars, that's what it means. Now, tying this back to the Bob Dylan story, which I have to get to, is the fact that his actual lyric sheet that wrote the song, Like a Rolling Stone, Michael, went for a Sotheby's auction record for this kind of item, $2 million. How surprised are you, or are you not surprised at all?
You know, for those real aficionados, you know, I guess it's all relative. If you're a billionaire, I say billionaire, and you
with
had
a B,
with a big B, and you really wanted this, and you wanted Bob Dylan's one of his greatest songs ever made, one of, not 5 of those out there. He has it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So he mumbles when he sings. When he writes his lyrics, is it just hard to? Is it not very legible? Or
hey,
is it...
you just better watch yourself, man. Hey, listen, Bob Dylan. I'm going to tell you what, one of the greatest singers of all time. Anybody that doubts that, just go pick up
lyricist. I would give him maybe the greatest lyricist of all time. Not a singer.
No, also
horrible
singer.
voice.
No,
he would not make it on American Idol.
That's exactly why I love him. Exactly.
Or
why I
the
love him.
voice.
He'll never. Yeah, well, he had a voice.
I mean, even CeeLo Green he's drawn a line and quit the voice because he knows it's a
But
joke.
he has alligator hands.
All right. Well, hey, listen, guys, we have been really enjoying this 4th of July. Awesome stuff here today. And hope everybody's having a very safe and happy 4th of July holiday weekend. Now, in this edition of the Gun Vault, we're going to start talking about some of the guns that help make America free, obviously that being our Second Amendment, and what you can do, though, with your guns as well. So, DJ Clyde, why don't you hit us up with our Gun Vault? All right, well, maybe not. You know what?
There it is.
Home protection can be a great investment. Welcome to the Gun Vault.
That's right. The Gun Vault. Home protection can be a very worthwhile investment. And Michael, right now we're talking about guns because obviously the right to bear arms, the firearm itself is central to the principal tenets of our freedom here in the United States. First Amendment obviously is the freedom of speech. Second Amendment, many consider to be the one that backs up the First Amendment and keeps the rest of them in check. And that is the right for the citizen to bear arms. Now, at the world famous Max Pawn, you guys do something that a lot of places, especially pawn shops, absolutely cannot do, and that's sell firearms. You also store firearms. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what gun values could mean to a customer of Max Pawns?
Yeah, many of the pawn shops here in Southern Nevada not only don't sell them, but they don't take them in loan. And there's a reason for that. A lot of the public companies, Cash American, Easy Pawn, don't take firearms because of the paperwork that's involved and the risk involved. Because it is a very tenuous process, and it's detailed, and it has to be done everything exact and perfect. Every gun that is taken in a pawn shop. So if you get a loan on your gun, you have to go through the same background check as if you purchased a new gun.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
And so if you and a lot of people don't like that because you bought your gun in rightful owner, and you have your blue card or whatever you have that makes you the rightful owner. But the reason why the background check is in effect is because the same reason is when you go and buy another firearm, because you could have done something in that time period, and they want to check your background. So you may have pawned your gun in November, and you pick it up in April, and you may have committed some domestic violence. You may have a ton of traffic tickets. Believe it or not,
seriously,
they'll pull you back.
Traffic tickets?
If you have state-issued items, they'll make you clean up your mess before you can pick up. So it's kind of sad because government's getting involved, but in attaching to that. But it is a right. You have a right to bear arms, and it's a privilege as well.
Yeah.
And the state is involved in the background checks. But one of the great things about Max Pawn is you don't necessarily have to pawn your firearm and need money to store it with us. And we have a lot of people who store their firearms with us. It's vacation time. It's that time of year. You're leaving home. You're going to
North Carolina.
You're going to North Carolina,
right? And
you're going to the beach for the weekend. And people know in your neighborhood that you have firearms. Come to Max Pawn, store them safely. A lot of gun enthusiasts, they may be blending a new family like me. They're blending a new family. They don't know who's coming into their home. They don't know the type of people that are coming in the home. They store their guns with us. That if they want to go out and shoot, they go out to the shooting range. They return them to us, and they're in a safe environment in our vault, locked and insured by Lloyd's of London. So, a firearm has a lot of purposes, but a lot of reason why people bring their guns is because they need cash. And firearms happen to hold a good value, and they always have. And most of the people who pawn with Max Pawn return and get their items back, and that's what we like to see as well.
Yeah, I love the fact that you guys store firearms, especially like during the summertime, because you obviously, kids are at the house more. They're not in school. You don't know who's running in and out of your house, and keeping them in a safe place so there's not an accident that happens is vital.
And look, we just had a tragic story happen this week at Boy Scout.
Oh my God, from Southern California. Well, he's a Nevada kid, but he was down in San Diego.
And his dad was part of the chaperones, and he took a gun that was unregistered. I don't know if it belonged to the family. I didn't hear all the details, but here's an item that could have been stored in a safe place. The young boy took it to Boy Scout camp with him and killed himself, and it's such a sad story. And these stories we're hearing more and more. But I think there's more firearms in America than ever before.
Yes.
There's more firearm dealers or more firearm manufacturers. I mean, you guys know as kids, there was 1, 2, 3, there were 6, manufacturers. It was Smith, it was Ruger, it was Colt. And now there's hundreds of brands.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be gun shows in this town. You'd have one a year. Now you have 4 or 5 a year. I mean,
there's
they're
like
all,
a month.
It seems like it, and they're all over the United States. So there is a lot more guns than there used to be. No doubt about it.
So I guess the war on guns is like the war on Christmas and all these other bogus wars that people say that are fighting. There's no war. They're right here. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Speaking of bang, bang, boom, boom, put your pets inside tonight because,
that's right.
it's really scary for pets with all the fireworks going off. And have a safe 4th of July evening and watch those fireworks. I know they're all over town. And, Dave, do you have some illegal ones you're throwing off tonight?
No, man, I don't do fireworks. I get a $100 fine from my HOA. I'm not doing
Flavor
that.
Flav invited me over to do some fireworks tonight.
Did he? Yeah, there's going to be some fireworks. All right, for Chad Forrester, Michael Beck, I'm Dave Carney. We'll see you guys Monday morning, 3 o'clock. Monday afternoon.
Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous Max Pawn, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, Max Pawn delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at maxpawnlv.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous Max Pawn, where luxury meets value.
We hear a lot of talk about income inequality and how the government wants to fix it. Now you can fix it yourself. At AvengeSoftware.com, we're helping people start a new